Oh, you're really ready.
We're standing already. We're really ready.
We're really ready. Welcome to the Woodbury Zoning Board of Appeals. Please stand for the pledge to the flag.
I thought that's what you were doing then.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. This is the Woodbury Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. We meet the second Wednesday of every month. Your board, we are short one member this evening, so there are only four board members this evening. To your far right, we have Mr. Joseph DiVenuto, Mr. Kevin Abrams, Mr. Craig Brady. Our recording secretary to your far left is Jessica McLennan. Our counsel is Mr. Robert Dickover, and I'm Karen Ungver. The next meeting will be November 13th here at Village Hall at 7:30. All right, we're going to stick to the agenda right now. Okay, no executive session this evening. Has everyone read the minutes from 9/11?
Yes.
I make a motion, we accept them.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, no new business. Action on decisions. We have for decision, review decision for an amendment to an existing variance granted on September 12, 2018. Said property is located at 14 Pheasant Run, Highland Mills, Section 247, Block 2, Lot 5. And after several pages of facts and findings, the decision is as follows. In employing the balancing tests set forth in Village Law, Section 7-712B, letter C, the board hereby grants the modification in the previously issued variance to allow a tan-colored fence rather than white, and to grant a variance to allow multicolored fence to wit white and tan. Craig, how do you vote?
Aye.
Kevin?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
And I vote aye. Thank you.
Kind of fooled you there, she started with there.
We have now have public hearings. The first two public hearings, we're going to make motions to move them to next month. The first one, the Shops of Woodbury LLC has requested that we keep the public hearing open and meet again in, this is November of next month. Do I have a motion to carry the public hearing open for Shops of Woodbury?
I'll make that motion.
Second? I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Letter B, Reineke Veit, continuation of public hearing for an area variance to permit the construction of a single-family dwelling on a pre-existing lot having no frontage on a public roadway or suitable roadway improved to the satisfaction of the highway superintendent. That also has been requested by their council to move this to next month because they were not prepared for this meeting. Do I have a motion to hold this open till next month?
I'll make the motion to carry it over to next month.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, letter C. This is Philibert Davis, public hearing for an area variance to permit the continued use of a 6-foot-high stockade multicolored fence in a side yard, whereas pursuant to Section 146-5A and Section 146-7D of the Village Code, no fence 6 foot high shall extend forward of the rear building line of any dwelling, and no fence shall be multicolored. Said property is located in the R3A zoning district at 1021 State Route 32 in Highland Mills, and is known on the Village of Woodbury tax maps as Section 201, Block 1, Lot 21. Is the applicant present? Yes. Could you go to the microphone and state your name for the record, please? Thank you. Oh, there's a button on the other side there to turn it on. Yeah, right up there. See it?
Francine Philibert.
Is it on?
Oh, yeah, it says
It says it's on? Okay, I heard you.
Kevin Davis. That's my
Okay.
husband.
Yeah, Kevin Davis.
Okay, so what we have is, you received a violation order, notice of violation from the building inspector, correct? Because of the multicolored 6-foot solid fence. I think the history is that the fence originally was back a little further, and the building inspector asked you to move it, and it got moved to the front. It was painted solid at one point, and now it's multicolored.
It was multicolored both times. It was multicolored both times. Then
I saw it at one point, it was just red, just solid red.
It was solid red, you understand me? After he came to me and talked to me, and then I put back multicolored, yeah?
Okay, can you explain to us, since
It's,
the code says that you cannot have a multicolored fence, nor can you have a 6-foot fence in the side yard, nor can you have a solid fence in the side yard.
Well, we put up the fence because there's been numerous car accidents on Route 32 where cars have come into our front yard and taken down our fence and taken down our neighbor's fence. So we put up the fence because we have young kids and they play in the yard and they're no longer allowed to stay in the front. So that fence creates a barrier for my kids' protection. I do have my neighbor here, Mr. Clyde. He will let you guys know the last accident that happened, it tore down his fence and it made damage into our driveway where the driver drove off Route 32 and into our driveway. So the fence, we feel that is necessary just for the safety of our children when they're playing.
You have a chain link fence that's been put up along the road.
Yes, and that has been taken down. It has been, the driver has not.
chain link fence do not stop nothing. They still actually come in,
Right through.
right there. You understand
Because
me?
they're speeding at such a speed around that corner coming down the hill that there's been numerous times where they've hit down our fence, they've hit down my neighbor's fence, and they've made a big accident. We've had situations where it's happened that way. So having the chain link fence is really useless in some sense.
We also asked if we could have put up a solid brick stone wall there
Right, and
to actually slow down traffic even much more. But they say it cannot really happen.
right, you can't have you cannot have stone fence.
So you can
At the
have a
front.
solid at the fence there. You understand? That's what they.
But a 4-foot fence would serve the same purpose.
A 4-foot stone fence, stone wall fence. We would like to put that there, but
But the 6-foot fence isn't allowed where you have it.
6-foot fence where in front.
That's
Right.
where the stockade fence is at the
The
present
6-foot
time.
fence, they understand me. That's
Right.
where our kids them play.
That's
right
where
there.
they play right in that behind in
Kids
that
them play
area.
right there, understand me. So you don't a 4-foot fence don't even serve no purpose. They could step over that. We got big kids and we have young kids also. I have dogs, understand me, that get hit there. I have 3
Yeah.
dogs that actually get died
Got
there.
killed on Route 32.
But the 6-foot fence can be at the back of the house, but not in the front of the house.
The back of the house, that's not really to the front of the house.
It's on the
That's
side
right
of the
on the
house.
side.
Right,
It's on
but
the-
it's
yeah.
considered by the
It's on
code,
the side, but
the,
it's at the front.
It's on the
side.
front
It's gotta be
corner.
At the rear side.
In the back there, where my kids them play, you have a lot of tree wood and rocks and stuff. That's the only good area.
Area
there.
of the
That's where my
yard,
kids play
right.
Soccer and the water slide and stuff. That's the only area there. So for my kids to be safe, that's where the fence had to be.
That's why we moved
Go
it.
back behind there, there's still
There's still
over that area.
no space.
so you're saying that if you had to move the fence to the rear corner, it wouldn't leave enough play area for the children in the back of the yard?
Right, exactly. That's what I'm saying, because we have dogs and we have a lot of young kids. And then not only that, but I mean, where the actual fence is, it just allows a little bit more space. It allows them to have more space to do that. And because we have the land and we have the spacing for the land to do that, then that is the reason why we moved up the fence up to where it is now.
But it can only be 4 feet.
Right, but that's the reason why I'm explaining it to you. Even with the 4-foot fence, I don't think that's safe enough for my children.
Well, how,
4 feet, I'm tall, and my oldest is 16, and he's the height of my husband.
Well, you
he's
don't
not
have to
going to
worry
climb
about
over the
keeping a
fence.
16-year-old in a fence, do you?
Well, if I have my younger ones and they're all playing, yes, and if they're playing with a ball and the ball goes over the fence, then it becomes now an issue, right?
And it's multicolored. I mean, honestly, I drive past it quite a bit.
Yes.
It's not very attractive.
What attractive to you? Why is not attractive to you?
Not attractive to who?
To you,
me.
why is not, why?
Okay, but it's
Because it's not allowed, and the reason why they don't allow it is because it's not.
If it was red, white, and blue, you understand me, would attract it to you? Tell me.
What?
If it was red, white, and blue, you understand me,
You
would
can,
attract it to you?
you can paint it a
You
solid
can paint it
color.
white.
No, if it
You
was
can
red,
paint-
white, and blue, would
That
it
has
be
nothing
attracted?
to do with it.
No, you're saying it's not attracted to you. I live there. That's my heritage. That's my color. That's my comfort.
But
If
there's
it was- if it
there's
was-
zoning laws.
okay. I understand that, but then you put your personal feelings into it, where you say that it's not attractive to you. So then you should have just left your personal opinions and just say it's the zoning laws, because at that point now you're putting your personal preference.
It is the zoning law,
but you're
and that's
saying
why
that's
it's
attractive to
there.
you.
I understand that, but then once you say it's not attractive to you, then it's now your opinion. It's no longer about the zoning laws, it's about your preference and what you think and what you
Well,
like.
Any
And
decision,
I follow the law.
Okay,
any
and
decision
so
that we
do
make-
we.
I follow.
I follow the law too, and I'm a
Well,
taxpayer
no,
too.
you're not following the law. You wouldn't have got those tickets.
I didn't have any tickets
I see appearance tickets here.
because I put in a variance. Okay, I filed for the variance.
If the fence was
So- go ahead.
if the fence was different color, that's the act. I just want to answer. You
They just
understand?
want it to be a solid color.
A solid
Yeah, the
color.
code, right, the code what the code says is,
changing it back to a solid color.
It could be
But
brown, it could be beige,
I
it
don't
could be
have a
white.
problem
At
changing
this
it back to a
point,
solid.
sir, I mean, really,
I don't have
after
a
your
problem
last
changing it back to a
comment,
solid
wait a minute, I need one at a time, because I can't hear both
I
of
don't have a
you.
problem
Really wasn't
changing it to a
professional
solid
at all.
color, ma'am. Yeah?
I'm sorry, what was that?
I don't have a problem changing it to a solid color. But
Okay.
at this point, you understand me, the fence, the 6-foot fence, what is there is for a purpose, you understand me, my kids and my kids' safety. If anything happened to my kids, I'm gonna hear, you understand me, oh, it's not my kid, because it's not attracted to him. It's not my kid neither, you understand me? Sorry to hear that, yeah? It's just another loss. So,
Did-
it's there to protect my kids, my family. I want my family to be safe. That fence is there to protect my family. A fence that there, 4-foot fence that's there, ball, my kids don't kick ball. Ball go over that 4-foot fence. It crosses the street.
we're right on the main road. It's not like
Yeah.
we're on a main or a private road where the streets are much smaller and there's actually a speed limit that people follow. 32, where we are right by the winery, they're speeding at least 65 and above. I've lost 3 dogs because of the situation. For me to lose anything else because no one is abiding the speed limits, it doesn't make any sense. Only because I have not had a fence to guard them until now.
And another thing again, ma'am. Yeah, people live there. You all see the multicolored fence. Do anyone here, you understand me, zoning, you understand? I know it's not your real problem. Do anyone here say, okay, you have people live here now. I think, you understand me, vehicle coming down this way. I think we should put a
Driveway sign.
a sign or
We've been
something.
asking
Do
for
any-
that for the
Do
longest.
anyone ever think about that, you understand me? Otherwise than the fence. Think about, you understand me? People live here now, kids and stuff like that, you know? Otherwise than the fence. Do anyone ever think about
Or what they should have is more of I wouldn't mind if there's like a cop or something that basically monitors the speed for drivers at that particular point. Like I said, because they speed at tremendous amounts coming down and around that hill all the time.
Now, when these accidents happen, did you file police reports?
There
Did the
has
police-
been, well, I don't file, but when it happens, whoever's involved have to file the reports. The last report that was done where it took down my neighbor's fence, he had to go to the police department and get the report in order to put a claim into his insurance to get his fence repaired, and so on and so forth.
Even last night, 11:45, the police them was out there where they stopped 2 vehicles for speeding right there, right in front of my door. Last night, 11:45, I was out there also.
So they were, excuse me, they were stopped for speeding by the
Right
police?
there. Yeah,
Right,
by my
right
house.
at that area.
Right by my house, right outside there. Yeah, and coming down that way, a lot of people just throw the garbage out. If 4-foot fence don't stop the garbage blow back over also.
Have you talked to the DOT?
Yeah, I talked to the DOT. They cannot do nothing like that. So you understand me? It's my property. I go out there and I gotta pick up the garbage.
Right.
Even the building inspector, he said he have that problem also. You know, it
Yeah,
don't
we spoke
solve
to
nothing.
Gary about it too.
It don't solve nothing. You know, I don't have a problem changing the fence.
The color.
The color or anything like that to suit whosoever, you understand me.
But to take down the fence, I don't.
To remove the fence, it's kind of hard. I'm going to say it's kind of hard. I'm all for my kids, my wife, my kids, my family, and protection, you understand me? I just want to keep them safe. That's all.
Did you-
remove it?
Did you want to have your neighbor say something
Yeah,
on your
never
behalf?
said anything.
Oh, we had a question, I'm sorry.
Is a construction question, okay?
Yes.
How is the current fence structurally sound? In other words, how did you construct it?
Which one?
The
Current one?
multicolored.
The multicolored one?
Yeah.
Yes.
We
It was,
dug-
it
we
was
dug-
called, I dig, how much feet, you understand me? Actually 2 feet.
Okay,
Large,
Cemented it.
4x4.
okay.
Cemented
Put
it.
in,
Concrete?
concrete
Okay.
and deal with those stuff.
So you've got concrete base?
Yes, concrete
With
base.
4x4s?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions before we hear from the neighbor? No? You want to ask your neighbor to come up?
Mr.
Sir?
Clyde, you want to come on up?
And would you give your name for the record, please?
Yeah, I'm Clyde Magarelli, the next-door neighbor, and it just confirms that that area is very dangerous. It does need protection, so the idea of having a higher wall as a protection, I mean, I got a stone wall, and they come right through it. I mean, no problem. I mean, and I've had to repair that so many times. I have no problems with the color of the sign or raising the wall itself. Okay. Any questions?
Any questions from the board?
No. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
They said thank you. They said thank you.
They said, thank you,
They
Mr.
said it's
Clyde.
okay.
They said it's okay, everything is good, thank you.
Oh.
He can't hear you good, that's why.
Any other questions from the board? Comments? You want to close the public hearing for this?
Anyone else?
Oh, right, I'm sorry. Yeah. Anyone else from the public wish to speak to this application? Yeah, would you please come to the...
Hi, my name is Lakeisha Brown. My question, I was confused about what the issue was with where the fence was. You stated about it being to the front of the house?
It's to the front corner of the house.
Basically, the way the code is written.
Yeah.
right, a side yard includes all of your front and up to a line extending with the rear of your house. So if the fence is here, anywhere in here, that's technically, according to the Woodbury Code, the front yard. There's no real definition of a side yard. A 6-foot fence is not permitted by code in that area. It is permitted if it were in a line with the rear of the house. Okay?
And who determines what's the rear again? Because that's
It's
very
the corner
strict.
of the house.
The rear corner of the house. So if you have a front door here, if the lot is this way,
Yeah.
and that's your front door, then the rear is that line.
Is that where the fence is?
Fence is on the, if you're facing it, it's on the right front corner of the house.
No, I understand that part. It was the distance
Here's your road.
from the front that I was referring to.
But it's
Okay.
anywhere in that
Anywhere
area.
in that space there, from
Yes.
the
Front-
porch,
Front
from
or
the...
side.
Right, but if it was from the rear corner of the house, you can have a 6-foot solid fence.
Right, so they're asking for a variance.
Right, for
to
the
have
6-foot
high
in
fence
the front corner.
further up.
Understood, thank you.
And then I must say, yeah, with that fence, do you have got a permit for your inner fence
On your property.
on your property?
Yes, you need to have a building permit to put up a fence.
Even though it's inside?
Yes.
That's weird.
When it just happened, it been there all the time.
Because when.
No,
No,
it's
it's
always
a
been
long
like
time
that.
ago.
Been a while.
Well,
Okay,
yeah, I
because
don't know.
we originally got the permit.
Okay, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Okay.
No, it's all right. It's all right. You understand me? I thought it just happened. You understand
Yeah,
me?
because it was,
You know, because if we was hearing something else, you understand?
Right.
We understand something else, but now we understanding a different thing. So
It-
that's why I didn't want to know if it just come into rule.
right, it wasn't
I've been there
communicated
before.
because if, we had, when we got the one in the front, the 4-foot, we had got the permit for that, so.
Yeah, you had a building permit for the chain link fence.
So the chain link fence could change and put into solid?
No, you
Solid?
can't, if you want to put a solid, you'd have to come before the zoning board.
I know, that's why I'm here to the zoning board. I just want to.
Well, you're here because of the
I know
stockade
something else,
fence.
yeah. I just asked. I just took in that question and asked.
Oh, if you wanted to put a solid fence where the chain link is?
Yes.
You would have to come before us, yes. You would need a variance for that.
And that has to be 50%. It can't
And,
be solid.
right, that's why he would need a variance.
You have to be 50% what?
It has to be less than 50% solid. I mean, more than 50% solid, uniformly solid.
Side yard.
So it can't be a stone wall or nothing.
I don't know about stone.
Yeah, I don't know either, because I've seen stone
You would
walls
just
along
have to check
the
with,
street.
like DOT to make sure you're not within whatever their
Yeah, you're on a
right-of-way
state highway.
is.
It might have to be so many feet back from, like, the center of the road or something like that, but Gary at the building department could give you.
Yeah, he would be able to tell you that.
He's a good source of information.
The stone fence won't even make a difference.
A stone, you understand me?
Okay, do we have any other questions from the board before we close the public hearing? No? Do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make a motion.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So what we'll do is at the end of the public hearings tonight, we will make a decision. You're welcome to stay, or you can call the building department in the morning, and they'll let you know what the decision was.
Okay,
Okay?
Problem, you understand?
all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good night now.
Night.
Good night. Next public hearing is Premium Outlet Partners, Woodbury Common, public hearing for an area variance to permit the installation of an additional freestanding sign at the new second entrance to Woodbury Common, created by the Exit 131 improvements on Inninger Road. Whereas pursuant to Section 310-30D2A only, one freestanding sign is permitted per premises. Said property is located off of Route 32 in Central Valley, is known on the Village of Woodbury tax maps as Section 225, Block 1, Lot 70.2, and I see our applicant is present. Would you please state your name for the record, please?
Sure. John Villapiano, Vice President Development, Simon Property Group, parent company of Premium Outlet Partners, LP, owner-operator, Woodbury Common Premium Outlets.
So according to the paperwork that you gave us, the new sign that you plan to put by the Outer Ring Road by the Ninninger Road extension is exactly the same sign as what is on Route 32 across from the school, the original Woodbury Common sign?
Yes, what was the sign? Yes, it will be exact dimensions, exact construction, color, with the one exception of the back, because it faces a service court, will be blocked in with a black cover.
So it's one-sided?
It's
instead of
one-sided,
Gotcha,
yes,
okay.
yes.
And you need this because, obviously, you need people to know where they're going. My question is, on Ninninger Road, when you're coming off that extension, is there some other signage to let them know that they're now going, because this road goes right into the ring road, it goes right into Woodbury Common.
Yes, it
So is there
terminates.
some kind of a sign that says Woodbury Common only?
So-
So people don't get off thinking they're getting off on 32 or wherever?
No, so we've worked with the DOT and their contractor and design team extensively on how best to sign as you come off the thruway and along Route 32. This map actually is, I can give you a little idea. This map is updated with the future interchange. So as traffic comes off of 32, or off of the thruway, or Route 17, there will be signs for Woodbury Common, but it will say second and third rights. There will be no sign along 32 for this first right-hand turn, which would bring you to the circle at Ninninger Road. The idea is to direct all traffic to what we're terming as entry B, which would be your first right. And then our main entry, the north entry, we're terming entry A. It's confusing, but I think the whole interchange will be confusing for a little while.
So is entry A the one that's there now? Is that the one that's the most northern?
The most northern one, yes.
That's the one that's currently there?
And that's the
Okay.
one that we want to be, and the DOT wants to be, our main entrance.
Okay.
The Ninninger Road is more of an exit point. People, with the density of parking that we have in the parking garage in the south section of the property, we are going to drive most people out this way through Ninninger. There will still be, unavoidably, there will be people that are using this as an entry point. To answer your question, though, if you do make this right, and the signs are actually up now, if you do make this first right, before you enter the circle, there is a sign that says Premium Outlets, and it shows to make the movement to come around the circle and make a left. And then once you're here, you're actually committed.
Well, that's why I was wondering if, yeah. Yeah, I saw that on the road, on the map.
But I don't understand, I'm just wondering, if that's not going to be your main entrance, why would you want to put a sign there?
It's more for a sense of arrival. People are going to use it. So the sign, we have it. It's been removed by the DOT. It is the sign that was at our north entry point.
Same sign?
It's the same exact sign. Yes, it was.
I think, Kevin, it just, like when they follow the signs to Woodbury Common and they finally get to where the ring road is, they know that they have arrived.
Yeah,
so to speak, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was just, if
was
they're
that?
not if they don't want to use that as an entrance.
Well, they said it's more of an exit, but people will be using it. It's probably locals.
But it's,
More
and
locals.
No, I was just curious.
Coming down. It's not, the intent is not of this sign to drive traffic here. It's the sense of arrival. Once people are there, it is a T intersection, so it's akin to what we have actually out there at the first, the first turn off 32. When they hit that T intersection, we do have a small little sign that's not visible from 32. That's up behind the retaining wall. So it's following the same.
And are there going to be signs at both of the other entrances?
No, what we're proposing, there's going to be no sign on 32 at this first entrance. There will be directional signs that the DOT is installing as part of the project. What we've noted on the overall plan, we're just not sure exactly how it's going to work with the new configuration, what the best location is, but our intent is to reinstall in kind the sign that was here. We just don't, I don't think personally it'll fit in the median, so we'll have to locate it on one side of the entry drive. So that's really, so this sign exists, although it's not there now. Our whole entry is very different. So what we're seeking is permission for a second sign at this entrance, which you can't see the two. They're 1,200 feet apart.
Below grade compared to the way it used to be at this, like when you approach the old south entrance, you can see the sign at the north entrance. With this one at Nininger, it's down farther because
Oh, it's
you can't see that north one from Nininger.
yeah,
No.
it's elevation, and these are existing buildings. You won't be able to. We have 25-foot tall buildings there, and the sign's only under 12. So yes.
All right, I'm good.
I'm good. The only discrepancy I saw was in we got a planning board memo, and they have the sign at 11.5 by 7 feet, some odd inches, and the sign actually measures 6'8" and 11'6". I think they were measuring the frame or whatever part of it, but it's either way, it's still under the 200 square foot maximum.
Yes,
So
yes.
it doesn't matter.
We're not asking for a variance
Right,
in that
right.
regard. No.
So.
No.
I got.
I'm good.
Okay, any other questions?
Out to the
Anyone
public?
from the public?
The public,
Wish to speak? There's nobody here.
I move that we close the public hearing.
I'll second it.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, you're welcome to stay while we
I will.
discuss this, or?
Yeah.
I think you're going to
Okay.
get that in one night.
No. Well, thank you, and it's nice to see another board.
Yeah, you've been before the planning board quite a bit. I did not get any building inspector's report. Did you?
Nope.
Okay, so we will deliberate on the closed public hearings. The first one being Philibert Davis fence. You want to flip the order? All right, let's do the Woodbury Common sign first. You want to do that?
Common, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Sir, we're gonna discuss you first. I personally don't have a problem with it. I think if people are going in, they like to know that they're there.
I do need to do the questions, though.
Oh, absolutely, but I thought we would discuss
we're gonna
first.
discuss.
Yeah, I mean, it's, do you want to,
I would go right to the question.
all right, let's go right to the questions. Okay.
Oh, good.
This is-
They didn't write that much.
Okay. Question 1, will the granting of this variance produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or create a detriment to nearby properties? The applicant says no. The proposed sign will be identified in size and identical in size and architecture to the existing freestanding sign. The sign will only be visible to the customers accessing Woodbury Common from the new Nininger Road entrance. I agree.
I agree with that.
Okay. Number 2, can the benefit you seek be achieved by some other feasible method other than the variance? The applicant says no, a second freestanding sign is not permitted by code. Agreed? Number 3, how substantial is the variance that you are requesting? Applicant says not substantial. The proposed sign will be located at a different entrance. Not along Route 30. Thank you. Not along,
Give it a second. It could be.
not along Route 32. The two signs, it's not on either.
They're both on. Do it in stereo.
The two signs are approximately 1,250 feet apart, cannot be seen from the other location. I agree.
with that.
I agree.
Everyone agree? Okay, number 4. Will the granting of the variance have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district? Applicant says no, the proposed sign will be consistent with the current use and nature of the property. Yeah, absolutely, yes. And number 5, is the alleged difficulty self-created? No, a sign at this location would provide a sense of arrival to customers accessing the property from a new entrance created by the DOT Interchange Improvement Project.
Technically, it's
Technically, probably
Everything's
is self-created,
self-created.
but it doesn't matter. What did you say?
Most all are self-created.
Yeah, it doesn't preclude any approvals or whatever. All right,
But I'll make a motion that we give them a positive, we give them approval for their additional sign.
Before you run there.
okay, hold on, just a... Go ahead. Maybe you...
So Mason Miles, just for the record, it should reflect that I have written a letter to the planning board making inquiry about the status of their secret review on the site plan application that's pending there, believing that if they had declared themselves lead agency, that we would have to wait for their environmental determination before this board could act. Upon reflection and further review of the application, it came to my attention that this application before you is actually a type 2 action under SECRA,
Right.
because it proposes the construction of an accessory non-residential structure which is less than 4,000 square feet in size. By definition, is therefore a type 2 action, and no further environmental review would be required by this board. So with having said the matter, you're certainly free to do so.
Thank you. Kevin, do you want to make that motion?
I'll make a motion to install the second sign.
Second it? I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So what we'll do is we write up a draft decision and we vote on it next month. So you can't put that sign up until next month.
Can't take the cover off it.
Who's got to plow that circle?
We will have an agreement with the DOT because they don't have the ability,
I guess
or
not.
the county doesn't have the ability to turn around on our property. So we will actually plow that section of road.
Where the first circle is.
Yes, and before the circle and come back, so whatever agreement is required. We have agreements all over there, because they technically own the retaining wall now, and it's,
I'd love to see the big plow try to go around that.
they built the road for a reason.
Okay, thank you, sir. Now we've got the Philibert Davis fence.
Madam Chairman, this required a 239 referral,
We-
the date of which was October 1st. We have 30 days to comment back, so we actually can't meet this evening.
This isn't, does this need a 239?
Yeah, it's on a state highway, it's county road, 30.
Oh, boy.
So you can't move.
All right, so what should we do? Should
Isn't
we
it-
discuss it and
We
wait?
can certainly discuss the 5.
But we can't make any decision this evening because we have to wait the 30
We
days
got
from the...
this letter here.
That's,
The-
that was a 239-F referral, which I'm not sure why it went out.
Okay.
But it's not the 239 referral that needs to go to the planning department. That letter came back that you're referring to from Orange County Department of Public Works.
Oh, see, now I put type 2.
Why don't we go
Because
ahead
the-
and try to make a decision?
But it
and
doesn't
by the
mean
time we
anything
vote
as far
on it
as-
next month, we should have it here.
Do you have two things back, one from the engineer and one from David Church, is it?
I have the 239, 1, or I.
Let me make sure we're talking about the same letter down there. The letter that I saw is dated October 8 from County Department of Public Works.
Right.
Correct.
Okay, that's a 239F referral. Again, I'm not sure why it went to them. But the one that we need is the one that comes back from Orange County Planning Department, a 239M referral.
That was me, yeah.
That was secret.
Yeah, that was my notes. So we have to wait for this.
What's 239 I and M?
Yeah, that's the one I have.
That's
But it's
Darren's
dated
referral.
October
It has been
1st.
For them to look into it. Request.
And because it's on a state highway, we need to wait for that determination.
Just while we're on the subject, as Route 32 is a state highway, is there any sort of thing that kicks in from there, or as long as it's far enough back, like at the corner of the house, it wouldn't have anything to do with New York State DOT?
That was the question about the fence that would be along the right-of-way?
No, I'm not interested now. We're dealing just with the
We're dealing with the
fence. As long as the
stockade fence.
stockade fence is back by the house, then do we have to still refer that to any state department then?
No, it's a residential property, so typically you don't see regulations coming in from the state on those type of structures. If it were a commercial operation, probably would be referred to state DOT, yeah. You folks were talking about putting that fence, less than 50% solid. You do have an additional regulation in your zoning that talks about fences along, let me see if I can find it for you. This is 146-7A. No fence shall be erected in a front yard in a residential district or along a public right-of-way unless the fence is uniformly less than 50% solid. So the state road would be a public right-of-way, and so.
But it's way back. I mean, the house is set back. from
Right,
the-
but they were asking whether or not they could keep their chain link fence along the state road or a wall.
Well, they had a
or
building
stone
permit.
wall.
They had a permit for that.
Yeah, that's not before us, the chain link
I
fence.
know, but you guys were trying to answer his question of whether or not you have a stone wall.
Yeah, that I didn't
I
know.
think this may prohibit that because it would be more than 50% solid, and in addition, it would be along the public right-of-way.
Without a variance, we'd
Without
have
a
to come back,
variance.
yes.
Yeah.
So I have a question. Is the 239F letter, right? Basically states, since the above referenced project will have no impact of any county road or county-owned property. Isn't that the criteria for 239M as well?
No. No. 239M referrals determine whether or not the project would have any intermunicipal impacts.
Oh, is it 500 feet from another municipality?
That's the
what-
239
okay.
criteria.
Right.
Any project within 500 feet of, and there's a list of about 7 types of areas. If it's within 500 feet of those areas, it has to go to the county planning department to determine whether or not there are intermunicipal impacts as a result of the project.
And one of those would be a state road?
Yes, 500 feet of a state road, county road, a stream that's maintained or
Yeah,
drainage
some of the
ditch by
others.
the county.
Bordering another municipality,
Yeah,
et cetera.
scenic areas, trails, there's a list of things that trigger a 239 referral.
All right, so should we discuss it? And assuming that they come back with a negative, which they're almost certain to do.
I agree with you, that either you're not gonna get a report back, which is becoming more common now than it used to be, or you'll get a letter back
Like
that
that
says
says
it's
it's
a matter
no
of local determination.
Right.
And the reason you have to wait is if they come back with comments in the 239 referral, some of those comments become binding. If it's a binding comment, it would require a supermajority vote of this board. And since we don't know whether there's not gonna be a binding comment or not, you can't vote on it until the 30-day comment period has expired. You certainly can discuss it
But we can
this evening.
discuss it.
But could we move forward on that like first at the next meeting if we have all that, or are we gonna save it all to the end?
That's a decision for you guys.
Where you're headed, I think, is essentially have a discussion, potentially draft an order of approval. And have
That's
it
what
ready.
I would do,
That's-
but-
That's what I think you were thinking, and I would agree with that.
In other words,
I can-
make a decision, do a draft, and then wait for that
Have
239.
it subject
and
to that letter.
Based on whatever
First thing, the
happens.
next meeting, essentially review the draft order.
All right, so my suggestion is the board adopt a motion directing counsel for the board to prepare a resolution approving this.
Well,
we
we
haven't
don't know if
talked
we're
about it
approving
yet.
it yet.
When we get there.
Approving it and have it ready for signature and decision by this board at the next meeting. And I can
Yeah.
do so.
Joe, what do you think?
We've done it in the past, I have no problem with that
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Yeah, that's
All right.
reasonable.
Yeah,
All right.
this way we're,
I'm having some issues with this. I understand the safety issue. I mean, they're on a major highway and all, but she was talking about all these accidents. And when I foiled it, all I got were 3 accidents.
Well, the problem you have is those are 3 reported accidents.
Well, that's why I asked her,
And it sounds like there are plenty of accidents that occur that aren't serious enough that they don't get reported, they don't get the police
Yeah,
involved. They just get a tow truck, they drive away.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
do whatever.
And really though, coming around that turn like that, I would find it hard to believe that their house
I
would
was just
be
going to say,
the,
because I drive that
if
frequently.
anything,
and
they would
it's-
be in Wolf's house.
It's,
Well,
You know?
I was gonna say, having come down that hill, because I usually make the left on Trout Brook, and there've been plenty of times where I've been basically in fear of my life because somebody coming down that hill at about 70 miles an hour, and I wasn't sure that either I was gonna have time to make it before they got out of the way. So I can see where if somebody is there and you don't see it, you go off to the
Yeah.
right to avoid.
well,
hitting
we've
that
given
thing.
fences, 6-foot fences for less than safety reasons. I mean,
I'm not
my
so much
personal
against
opinion,
the
I think
6-foot
that The
fence.
6-foot fence is fine, and he's already agreed to make it a solid color. So if he agrees to do that, I say leave the fence at 6 feet. That's my 2 cents.
I mean, I'm okay with that as long as we get rid of those colors because
yeah, don't
it's,
give your opinion next time.
I know,
Kinda hold you up.
I didn't, I really wasn't quite thinking it.
Pandora was an optimist.
Yes.
So,
I don't see that the stockade, I mean, it keeps the kids, away from the road, but as far as vehicle protection.
I think, right,
The chain link
I
fence
don't,
isn't gonna do much, the stockade fence is gonna do even less.
Well, that was why I
You could have a
asked,
6-foot chain link fence and keep the kids on that side, and it's open, and it has no colors at all. That's just my suggestion.
well, he seems to feel that this is going to be the safety issue, the safety net that's required.
You know, we allowed the 6-foot fence down on Florence
We had a lot of 6-foot.
just
fences
recently
allowed.
for basically the same reason, the kids' protection.
Florence, which one was that?
Remember they got the 2 autistic childs? Elkie?
Oh,
That was only 6 months ago. We did that.
yeah, that was, special needs
Stockade.
child. Yes, it was a stockade.
Solid.
fence. Yeah. Oh, no, put your pen
No.
away.
Uh-oh. I'm
We
okay
have
with
the
it.
6-foot fence, it was chain link, I believe, on the end of Trout Brook. The fellow came in and wanted
Oh,
to
yeah,
pull
yeah,
off
yeah,
and
yeah. Well, that was
inserts, all that
the
stuff.
state came in and said that there was a visibility issue, remember?
So this wouldn't be the same because it's.
No,
it's
this
right
is,
on
no,
the
this
edge of
is,
the property?
no, this is, have you been to the property?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. I don't think, this
He's
fence doesn't
out- he's
interfere with any
actually-
sight distance or anything on the road.
He's so
It's
far
it's
back
set
from the
back,
road,
yeah,
yeah.
it's set back, and I don't know
He
if
is
they
actually
fixed up
out
the
to
house.
The front porch on that.
Yeah.
You come down the steps and the
Yeah.
stockade is to the right
Yeah.
going to the side yard, but, all right, I'd like it to be uniform somewhat with the decision we made just across the street. So if that was close enough that the DOT got involved and said there was a site
Yeah.
issue or whomever, Trout Brook is a county road, I believe.
I don't know, it's just because they were on the corner of a state road and.
Because
maybe it
behind
is.
the house is Moonda Creek.
Yeah, and it's wooded. I mean, I looked on Google Maps.
So, I mean,
Google Earth, and it, there's not a
I
whole
thought they
play
could,
area there.
I
and
thought
the
there
other
was more
side
of a
has
play
shed or
area too,
something.
and there's not really a
really,
lot
yeah.
of play area.
I'm not against the 6-foot fence where it is, but
I'm
I am
okay with
against
the fence,
The color has to be
But,
solid,
Yes.
and we will not dictate what color.
Nope.
We got burned once.
But what if
Once
it's,
burned, this place learned.
what if
Right?
it's red or pink or?
It was red for a while, and then he added the other colors.
That must be colors of their country or something.
Yes,
Correct.
it is, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. But he could paint the other side of the fence where he sees it, if he feels that strongly about it, you know.
I think,
Any color, as long as it's solid, is acceptable, I assume? I don't see where it says,
It doesn't specify. Only
Don't we
signs
have,
have special colors.
yeah.
But
Don't
not
we have
fences.
some law about being basic colors?
no.
All right, then,
No.
whatever.
There's only.
You have sign colors.
Sign colors, like and the Bright Star Diner chose yellow. Couldn't wait till that sign came down.
All right, I'm
But
good with
there's
that.
no color.
I'll make a motion, we have
So,
our attorney
what-
draw up,
5 questions.
Oh, we're gonna do the 5 questions.
we
You're
have
getting ahead of
to?
yourself.
Well, it should, it's only fair. Will the granting of this variance produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or create a detriment to nearby properties? No, it will not, for we have not had any problems so far and do not see any arising. Thank you, Joe. An undesirable change, no, if it's a solid fence, I don't think it will. So, everyone agree with that?
I'm okay with the fence, but
Okay.
the color makes
Well,
it...
it has to be solid, yeah. Can the benefit you seek be achieved by some other feasible method other than the variance? The applicant says no, because we are being told that the fence must be removed, but that does not solve the issue, which is speeding cars, trucks, and the numerous accidents that have occurred since at my address. The second fence allows my kids/dogs to play and not have to worry about the possibility of something happening because of where the gate is located on my property. I'm not sure. I know the opening is on the left-hand side of the house, and the fence is on the right-hand side as you look at the house. I'm not sure what she means there, but can the benefit you seek be achieved by some other feasible method?
Probably not.
Probably not. Everyone agree, or? Okay.
I think she needs a variance based on what
But,
was
yeah.
described. Yeah.
Number 3, how substantial is the variance that you are requesting? She writes, it is very important that the variance be granted for the safety of my children. We have had several car accidents in front of my house, and the 4-foot fence that is currently there does absolutely nothing, for it has been taken down by a car that just crashed into it. We have our fence painted certain colors because it represents our religion, and we have that right. How substantial is the variance? Well, the variance we're requesting is huge that they're requesting, but what we're giving them is less.
Correct.
As is our right.
That is true. So I don't have a problem with the 6-foot portion, but I do have a problem with the multicolored, so I guess that's
Given that he's already
agreed to, yeah, he said had no problem with making it solid. Will the granting of the variance have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood or district? The applicant says, by granting the variance, there will be no adverse impact, physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district. It will only be creating, oh, Joe, you're good. Safety for my children who always play in the yard and my dogs.
He was an English teacher.
Yes,
he
I
can
know.
read that stuff. I can't. I'm sure he had worse.
I don't think there's any adverse effect
Yeah, I don't see an adverse effect.
at all.
I'm good with that.
Is the alleged difficulty self-created? No, it's not.
Yes,
It's
it
been an
is.
important issue for my family and the constant accidents that have happened over the years of us living in our home because cars are constantly speeding. We have lost 2 dogs. One accident was so bad, a pickup truck crashed into our front yard and tore down our neighbor's fence. Is it self-created?
It's self-created.
I think it's self-created in the sense that they put up a fence. I mean, you know, and they got a notice of violation.
It's
But that doesn't preclude.
No, it doesn't.
All right, do I have a motion to grant a 6-foot fence in the side yard? I
I'll
don't
make
have
that
a motion.
motion.
Not yet, not yet. Why not? Oh, right. Oh, but I thought we could do this
So-
based on the fact that,
Well, we won't make a
Oh, we
motion.
can't.
We're just going to have our attorney draw up a
Oh, okay.
favorable
okay, so,
decision.
okay, so we have to wait for the 239 before we can vote on this.
And I will prepare a resolution incorporating the findings that you've made this evening for a motion to accept it at the next meeting.
Okay, so that we get the 239 back.
Rob, can we vote next meeting, or will we have to
Yes.
wait?
Yes, that's when we have to vote. We can't vote this
No,
evening.
No, I
because
meant, we can vote in November, though. That's what I
Yes,
meant.
yes.
Okay.
We have to. vote.
that's okay on the
Yes.
6-foot, not on the colors.
Correct.
Only one color.
Correct. The 6-foot and the solid, not on the colors.
Is it safe to mention or state in that the applicant has agreed to go to a solid color?
Okay,
And I'll deny that application for that piece of the variance,
right, okay,
based on his agreement to remove it. We can change it back to solid color.
okay,
Good.
all right. We have no further business. Do I have a move for
Well,
adjournment?
don't we have to vote on making a decision?
No, we
because
can't
don't
do
have
anything until next
239.
month.
Oh, I'm not saying on the decision as much as we're saying Rob should.
So why don't we do it officially?
We can't technically vote on it, so we're just going to have
No, no,
a,
I
I'm gonna-
understand.
So Kevin,
Just,
yeah, he's just going to draft it. He says we can't
got-
even make a motion
He
to
got
do
his
anything.
instruction. So. Okay, so Kevin made the motion for you to,
Draw a,
prepare a draft
Draft.
resolution.
for the 6-foot solid fence and a denial for the multicolored,
correct.
Pending.
pending the
Receipt of
239 to
239,
9
yeah.
them. Correct? That's the motion?
You did a good job on that.
Thank you. I'll second it.
That's an even better job.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion for
Now-
adjournment?
Seconded? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
know,
You're the one that helped us out. We would have been